Sony has a pretty impressive lineup coming in 2021 for both the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but this last week we actually learned way more about what the future holds, also beyond that point. Including hints at brand new projects that are secretly being worked on behind the scenes, sequels that we might see earlier than expected, and way more. So in this Sunday Your Game Show, I want to go over recent rumors and news regarding future PlayStation titles. Every Sunday, I of course look at recent gaming trends, make predictions, and answer one of your questions at the end of the video. So if you like that, then a like on the video would really help me out. And let's go. There's still time to enter my giveaway for a 2021 game of your choice. So you can enter via the link in the pinned comment, and these giveaways are for subscribers of the channel only. I'll reach out to the winner via the email. Guerrilla Games just released a new Horizon PC patch, but more interesting is that they noted that as our team continues development on our upcoming title Horizon Forbidden West, we are shifting to less frequent updates for Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition for PC after this patch. And that makes sense because they want to launch Horizon Forbidden West this year. In a month from now, it will be 4 years since the original, which is pretty wild. Sony noted in November that Horizon Forbidden West is planned for the second half of 2021, and also during a recent CES stream, Sony shared a ton of release dates, and here we also see Horizon, but also Ratchet & Clank, coming still in 2021. Last we heard, Ratchet was a launch window title, so then you would think that it will be out by March, but I would not be surprised if we now see it later thanks to COVID. Now Returnal seems to be up next in terms of big PS5 games, and the new gameplay, not sure if you saw it, but it looks pretty good, with a ton of different weapons to use, fluid combat, and it's of course made by Housemarque, the creators behind Resogun and Alien Nation. So it is a huge step up in terms of budget. Hopefully it turns out great. And we got Kena Bridge of Spirits also in March, which looks also pretty cool. Stray, the game about that cat, will be launching in October, just like Ghostwire Tokyo from the Evil Within creators. They usually like to launch their games around Halloween, although this title is of course different. And that project Effia from Square Enix, we just had a short teaser of. It looked pretty cool. It was at the PS5 event in June as well. It's here noted for January 2022. Yeah, I don't think that's likely going to happen because Project Effia was also still a working title. Also worth noting is that Sony removed these dates from their video. So first it looked like this and now it looks like this. Really weird, maybe they weren't allowed to share these dates, especially from third parties, but it can also mean that of course these dates are internal right now and that they can totally change. And God of War was missing from this video altogether, maybe because we only have this short teaser trailer that is of course not exciting to show again, but likely also because it won't hit 2021. Like, let's be realistic here, all big Sony games get pushed at least once. God of War 2018 was also slightly delayed to 2018 because the actor first put God of War as a 2017 game in his bio. And especially now with COVID delaying everything, I think this game will be 2022 instead, and of course, like, let them take their time. We will wait. I also would not be surprised if this meant that Horizon Forbidden West will now take the November spot instead, because you would think that Sony wants something to go up against Halo Infinite during the holiday season, right? But this week we also learned that Sony Santa Monica is working on another game alongside the new God of War. An official job listing notes that they are looking for an experienced art director for the development of a new unannounced title. And we speculated about that before here on the channel, that Cory Barlog is likely not as involved with the new God of War game as he was with the original reboot. Like, sure, he's still likely overseeing it a bit, but I think he's mostly working on his own new IP instead. Like, let's look at that interview with Skill Up again that I also showed in a video last year, where he noted that after a much deserved vacation, he wanted to do this.
And then, start thinking about what's going on the next one. I really would love to create something of my own next.
Right.
Something that really is truly 100% coming from my original vision. That would be awesome. But we'll have to see if I can convince Sony of that one.
I mean, if Corey cannot convince Sony, then really nobody can. And maybe Corey would have moved on to another studio if he only could work on God of War again. Now they keep him for future God of War titles, but he also gets to make his own new game. And maybe it's a return to that cancelled project they started after God of War 3 that we briefly saw highlighted in that making of God of War documentary. This was supposed to be a sci-fi game with an open world and multiple planets, maybe too ambitious for the PS4, but likely not for the PlayStation 5. Like, it will be exciting to see a new God of War, but I'm also really curious what Corey's new IP would look like. But that's kind of the trend we are seeing. Sucker Punch is already working on Ghost of Tsushima 2 because they're looking for a new combat designer, and this person must have played Ghost of Tsushima and understand its core combat systems. Since we're totally getting more Ghost of Tsushima to nobody's surprise, and hopefully we get more Legends as well, or that they make that into its own thing with regular updates. I think that would be awesome. And even with the Days Gone writer and director John Garvin and the game director Jeff Ross leaving Sony Bend, it's still very likely that we get a Days Gone 2. After game director Jeff Ross announced he would leave, Colin Moriarty asked on Twitter about Days Gone 2, after which Jeff says that he thinks the design team knows what makes Days Gone tick. Like, obviously still many people who worked on the original are at Sony Bend, so I'm sure it will be fine. We also of course had teases in the first game about a potential sequel, and the game did pretty well sales wise. Also, a lot of work from the first game can of course carry over. And now that we are 2 years after the release, I would not be surprised if we already saw the announcement for the sequel this year, with maybe a release in 2022 next year on PlayStation 5 and maybe even PS4 as well. Like, after Days Gone came out, they were already looking for someone to help them create our next AAA title that will set the PS4 apart from the rest. And with, like, most PlayStation exclusives going cross-gen, I think having Days Gone 2 as a title like that makes a ton of sense. But yeah, the point is that I also want to see new ideas from these big PlayStation studios. Something that we had a lot of during the PlayStation 4 generation. And it makes sense that they will iterate on those new IPs we saw during the PS4 generation. But let's hope that doesn't mean that we see less fresh ideas. Like, Naughty Dog is likely working on a new IP though. I don't think they're doing a new Last of Us, and Uncharted seems to be worked on by that new San Diego team. And we actually got some updates on this secret team since the last video I made. On LinkedIn, as reported on by IGN, we namely got Michael, who worked at PlayStation as a studio head until November 2020. He notes that his latest achievement was having built a brand new all-star AAA action-adventure development team for PlayStation. He then continues saying that the studio is based in San Diego and how this team was assembled to expand upon existing franchises and craft all new stories for the next generation of gamers. We had a couple of Naughty Dog employees actually going to this studio, and like, not making a new Uncharted game is leaving money on the table because Uncharted 4 sold 16 million copies. So I think it's a safe bet that this team is working on a new story inside the Uncharted franchise, and also with the movie coming, it makes sense to capitalize on the Uncharted brand. The movie was, by the way, delayed though, from July 2021 to February 2022, and I first predicted that the announcement would make a ton of sense around the launch of the movie, so maybe that was also now pushed to 2022. I still think we can see a tease for the game this year, but really, we will have to wait and see. And there are also still rumors that Silent Hills might come back and that Studio Japan is working on that, although I'm not 100% sure on it. And other new rumors are that Bluepoint is now making a Metal Gear Solid remake after having just finished the Demon's Souls remake, of course. I think that would be pretty awesome, but again, those are just rumors. And also, let's not forget that Sony will have many third-party deals. An exclusive PlayStation 5 demo for the Resident Evil 8 just released. Like, that is already one example of that. Final Fantasy 16 might launch this year, we don't know, but that's also a 1 year at least exclusive on PlayStation. And I already want to throw in the question here from Yeah, I cannot pronounce your name, but thanks for your question. He asked, what about Splinter Cell? And that was in regards to if it will be announced in 2021. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Many people want a new Splinter Cell game, but the reality is that Blacklist, the most recent one for example, did not sell very well. But what if Sony, and there were rumors that Sony went to every third-party publisher to make a deal, went to Ubisoft and said, hey, what if we do a Splinter Cell game and it's gonna be a PlayStation 5 console exclusive? Then Ubisoft already has some financial security because they have this PlayStation deal. And then maybe it's like a good incentive for them to see if people still care about this franchise, right? I mean, Sam Fisher showed up in every Ubisoft property, give him his own game as well. And I think with a PlayStation deal, it might actually become a reality. Jason Schreier did say though that in the summer of 2019, it wasn't in development yet. So if there's a Splinter Cell in development, it won't likely be a while before we see it. But I think a possible PlayStation deal might be in the cards. Just throwing it out there, has been on my mind. Wanted to share it here in this video. Of course, if you have any questions for the next Sunday video, drop them down in the comments down below. Subscribe for way more Sunday videos where I keep you up to date on the latest gaming trends. A like on the video would really help me out. And don't check out my previous video on the Star Wars games, the future, and the fact that Ubisoft is now making an open world Star Wars game. You can watch that one by clicking on the screen. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.